Are you ready to expand your life and reality? Join us for the next hour with Jamie Bates as she shares life-changing thoughts, techniques, and awarenesses to help you expand your reality.
Hello and welcome. I am Jamie Bates, consciousness facilitator and expander of realities. My mission with my radio show is to create greater awareness of what is possible and to expand you beyond the limitations of this reality. I'm grateful that you're joining me today. And today's concept might be a bit strange at first. But I think once you understand where I'm going with it, at least I hope, it'll make more sense. So today I'm talking about the pain and pleasure connection. Really more than anything today, I'm looking at this place where I'm going to do my best to kind of try to put this into words. It's kind of like the place where we do, I'm going to say like self-sabotage, but more than anything, almost like the place where we like uphold the pain, almost like an addiction to pain or an addiction to feeling bad about ourselves or our lives and I'm not like insinuating that we're all like self-loathing pity partiers or anything like that. It's kind of like I've been really kind of sitting with this all day today, really trying to put this into some kind of fathomable words here. And I thought I really wanted to do like a clearing call on this because this energy really became present as I became aware of it really truly for myself as I was working through my sacral chakra journey. And it was kind of this place where it's almost like the pleasure of watching myself suffer, even though I wouldn't necessarily really define it as like I'm having a ton of pleasure watching myself suffer, right? But this week in the chakra course, I've kind of been looking at kind of sharing information about the sacral chakra, which is the second chakra of the seven chakra system. And this is kind of one of the concepts that I did not cover in the course, but it is one that I thought, today I want to kind of dive in and kind of do a clearing call around this and really kind of explain it the best I can and really even see if maybe this is something that you are noticing yourself struggling with and really truly like let's allow ourselves to kind of become aware of the concept as a whole, right? So we can shift it, change it, go beyond it. Uh, and although I can't really necessarily get the exact energy of it. It's not that I can't get the exact energy of it. It's almost like I don't really have necessarily all the words. So I thought, I'm just going to explain today and we're just going to do some clearing around it. And really, truly, as we're doing these clearings, understanding that like the center for our pain and pleasure is our sacral chakra. Okay, so the sacral chakra again is the second chakra of the seven systems. So if we start from the bottom, last week I talked about the root chakra and kind of concepts within the root chakra. This week we're talking about the sacral chakra. This is a concept that would be kind of energetically stuck within the sacral chakra. Our sacral chakra represents our pain, our pleasure, also our sexuality, our creativity, has our sense of adventure. Okay, and it's really closely connected with our center of pleasure and pain. So if your sacral chakra is blocked or imbalanced, you're going to kind of experience some of these issues that I'm talking about today. So let's kind of dive in here, and I'm going to do my best to really kind of put it into words. So one of the things I was aware of, or as I became aware of as I was really kind of diving into my own sacral chakra journey when I was creating this course, is this energy of where I would choose something, right? And it would feel light and free and amazing. And then there would be this other space that would come up that would kind of think like it's going to turn out kind of like the opposite, like kind of almost like having the awareness of the complete opposite thing happening and almost like aligning with it in a way almost just to have the pain of worrying about it or the quickness of anxiety over it. I'm just going to kind of hold this space for a second here. Everything, all of that is. Yeah, and all of that, 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 all of that. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. Like, and I wouldn't say that this was like something I have with every single choice, right? And it's probably not something that you have with every single choice, right? But it's like this. I'm going to explain it kind of again. It's like choosing something, right? And really feeling how this is going to turn out and feeling the lightness of it, but then having like the opposite awareness right after, and almost like aligning with it in a way of really knowing that like that's really not going to happen. I'm not that's not going to be the outcome of it. But almost aligning with that other feeling just purely to have like the pain of worrying about it or the pain or the quickness that the anxiety brings, right? Yeah, that right there. It's like the addiction to, and I think that I'm seeing this more and more with those of us who have been doing this work for so long. It's almost like the addiction to polarity, right? It's like when you haven't had like that fill of like that like overwhelm feeling. It's almost like that. Yeah, everything, all of that is right there. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of your universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. Nice deep breath. If you've never listened to my radio show before, if this is your very first time listening to my program, welcome, number one. And number two, what we're doing here is we're doing energy clearing. So we're bringing up energy and we're clearing that energy out to give you a different choice and a different possibility. So that's what we're doing with the clearing. So when I say everything, all of that is, can we just choose to remove all of that from all of your universes? All you have to say is, yes, I choose that now. And then we can just vaporize that energy out of there. And the whole point of releasing and removing and vaporizing and letting go of that energy is because when you, like right now, when we're talking about this pattern, this is a pattern that we perpetrate, right? And there's like an energetic path. So when you become aware of the energetic path and then you make the conscious choice to clear the energy that's creating that conscious path, you get to choose something different. Yeah. So everything that doesn't allow that for us. Yeah, and all of that, 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 all the shikyu, and any stupidity, unconsciousness, anti-consciousness, and energy fog in and around all of this, everything, all of that is. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. We're just going to vortex this out for a moment here. There's also this other place that I'm innately aware of a lot of times, especially as creators, right? We are so aware. We are so conscious and aware of creation because we are so aware. I feel like as an energetically sensitive person, as an empath, as someone who has the awareness level that we have, you know, in my own personal opinion, I feel like all of creation is always available for us. Like, and whoever actually is available to receive the creation is usually the creator of the creation, right? And I don't know how many times, even in my own life, and I've heard countless numbers of people say, that there's some kind of an invention and saying, I had that same idea, right? I had that same idea. I never acted on it. Or, I thought about that myself. And, and then all of a sudden, days later I see it. Or oftentimes, I was having a conversation about this in a group that I'm running right now. And we were talking about, the woman was talking about how often she will think of something, right? And then within a couple of days, she will see that it's been created already, right? And that's again because of the energy of creation that's kind of always flowing through us. So one of the things that was kind of in kind of the same alignment with this energy of like pain and passion and or passion and pain is kind of this place where we almost like shut our creativity down almost instantaneously. Like you have so many great ideas, right? But then you also have all of these other connection points to all of these failed projects, right? Stored all around your energy field, or potentially even maybe all around your house. Just going to kind of pull this through. And potentially, you might even be swimming in this energy of, and these are all kind of associated within the sacral chakra area, because it's almost like, I'm going to go back to what I said at the beginning of this. It's like having pleasure, almost, not that it's even really pleasurable, right? But it's almost like having pleasure and watching myself suffer. Even though I wouldn't say I'm having a great time, there's something about the connection of pleasure and pain that keeps us in this place where, you know, it's like things feel undone, or like it's almost like, again, like where your creativity gets shut down almost instantaneously. And I feel like this is very common with us creators. Like we have so many of these great ideas, we have so many of these great things that we want to create, but then all around us we have all these memories of all of these failed projects, and whether they're just energy storage spaces, or you have your home filled with things that are undone, right? Things that you started and you were very motivated about and you were very excited about, and then for whatever reason you lost the motivation, you stopped doing it, you let it go, and every time you walk by it, I remember when I went through my massive awakening, at the time I was living by myself with the girls, with my young girls, and I had this shelf that my grandpa had actually built. I've talked about it, I think, before in the past, but, and on this shelf, it was like a bookshelf. And on this bookshelf, I had literally like all kinds of undone things, right? Had undone art things, undone projects, on, bins of things that were undone. And every time I would walk by it, it would integrate this like energy of like, and I'm going to use pain for the lack of a better word, just to relate kind of to what we're talking about here. But it was like it was this constant integration of like failure, like failure, like failure, right? Like I could never really just like walk by that. And even if I didn't consciously think about my failure when I walked by it, unconsciously, I was continuing to reference myself back into that place where you never finished this, you never did that, you never did this, everything, all of that is, and everywhere you're stuck, perpetrating that same cycle in your own life, everything, all of that is. And all of that, 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 all of that. Everything, all of that is. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. And I guess you could kind of call that like, it's almost like a self-sabotage in some way, shape, or form, right? But on the same sense, it's like it's such an unconscious thing. I know when I went through my massive awakening, I mean, I literally had to go through and like, I think I got rid of probably 75% of the things in my home. And I know, like, gosh, then Marie, what is her name? Marie Kudo, or I can't remember what her name is. I'm sorry. The lady who said, if it doesn't bring you joy, throw it out, right? I did that prior to her telling people to do that. But it's so important. And I find even now at this point in my life that if I start working on something and it starts to feel heavy or hard, or like, I'm very intentional about what I allow myself to keep around me, because I don't want to keep reintegrating that space where I'm feeling bad about having things that are undone. And I'm going to go back to, there's still such a connection for me with this energy of like pleasure and pain. It's almost like having pleasure, some sort of pleasure. You're getting something, whether, not that it's like extreme joy or anything, or like you're really feeling pleasure in your body, but there's some kind of connection to keeping those pain points open that create this space that allow you to continue to perpetrate those cycles in your life. Everything, all of that is. And all of that, 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 can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. This energy of like where things feel undone. And I know we've all been there, where it's like we have something that we really need to do, right? And we think, oh gosh, yes, tomorrow I'm going to be motivated to do it. Tomorrow, I'm going to do it tomorrow, right? And then tomorrow comes and you're all happy to spend your day, feeling happy, and then you don't do it. And then it's like this, the dread sets back in, and then you get to feel guilty for one more day, because the pain of wrongness, it seems to like creep back in and sting you again, right? And then you think, oh gosh, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. How many things, I seen a meme one day, one time, this was, I don't even know how long ago, and it said, just took me 5 minutes to finish the project I've been avoiding for the last 2 months. Right? I mean, we've all been there. We've all been that person who has avoided something that will literally take us like 10 or 15 minutes to do. And we've literally spent months avoiding it, feeling guilty about it, feeling bad because we don't get it done. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Everything, all of that is. And everywhere you're doing that, and everywhere you're choosing that, everywhere you're tangled in that, and everywhere that's part of, yeah, everything, all of that is. And all of that, 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 all of that. Everything, all of that is. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. The sacral chakra is part, like, it not only does it have the pain and pleasure, it also has your creativity in there. So if you're feeling this like constant stagnant energy about your life, if you're feeling like, I have all of these undone projects all around me, and again, I feel like that cycle of being addicted to feeling bad about what you're not doing, or about what you're not creating, or about what you're not moving forward with, or what you're, whatever it may be for you, that right there, everything, all of that is. Let's go all the way up that, 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 everything, all of that is. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. When your sacral chakra is blocked or imbalanced, you're going to feel that energy of stagnant. You're going to have a lack of creativity. It's going to be hard to bring really, truly any new creations into your life, including birthing anything. Like, when we look at birthing something, it can be the birth of a child, it can be the birth of a creation, it can be the birth of a book, it can be the birth of a new job. When your sacral chakra is blocked, you're not going to be reproducing much of anything. Your sacral chakra governs your feelings and how you create connections to your world emotionally. I find what you're finding yourself most often unconsciously saying to yourself is a good indication of how your sacral chakra is functioning. And when I say unconsciously saying to yourself, this is more of like those places, the ways that we're feeling, right? If you're often feeling unheard or taken advantage of or threatened or just bad about your life as a whole, that is a good indication of how your sacral chakra is functioning. And breathe that all the way through and just pull that all the way through and all the way through and all the way through and all the way through. So understanding that by balancing those energies, you can actually shift and change those feelings and change your life. Let's just pull that through for a moment here. And let's just kind of like untangle some of these. What if it really truly isn't that you're just bad and terrible and awful and you've made all of these mistakes and you should just be buried in wrongness and you should just be buried in all of those undone projects in your life for the rest of your life? What if it isn't that at all? What if you haven't had motivation or the creativity to finish those projects because your sacral chakra is not bringing in the life force energy that it requires to feed your body systems the energies that you need to create your life with? Yeah, breathe that in for a moment. And everything that doesn't allow you to see that you are not bad and wrong, you are not this terrible, awful person that you have decided you are. You are not lazy and unmotivated and guilty, and you are just not receiving the vital life force energy that you require to create your life as the expression of what it desires to be. Breathe that in for a moment. And everything, all of that is right there. And all of that, 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 all of that. Everything, all of that is. Could we just choose to remove all of that from all of your universes? Could we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. When you notice this pattern around your self-worth and how terribly you discount yourself in a way that creates this like defeat, deafening energy, understand that that's not you. You know, growing up, I grew up in a home of instability and insecurity. And potentially you did too. And, you know, last week I talked about the root chakra, which is, you know, your root chakra is the root of your chakra system. This is where your stability and your security comes from. And when your root chakra is off, okay, because so we have we have over 80 chakras in our body, number one, but we have 7 chakras, 7 main chakras that are line our spine. Okay. And the root chakra is right at the tailbone area of your spine. Okay, then the sacral chakra is the second one. This one is like between your belt. It's like your navel. It's below your navel, so it's like your stomach area, but it's like below your belly button. Okay, so that's where your sacral chakra is. Your sacral chakra governs, again, you know, you're bringing creations to life. Now the thing is if your root chakra was never like able to actually grow these like strong roots, because that's what your root chakra does. So I have this 7 energy system. Okay, your root chakra is your security and your stability. This is what you're rooted in this world within, right? And if you aren't allowed to create those strong, firm roots in your life as a child, and your root chakra is your very first chakra, that very first energy system that is created. They have found that your root chakra is actually created at conception. Isn't that crazy? Your root chakra is essentially the very first opening of the energy center of your body. So when you are first concepted, right at conception, your root chakra starts to grow, and it essentially feeds energy to your whole system. And as you grow in utero, that root chakra actually provides the energy up the spine to form the spine. Okay, and then after you're born, your root chakra continues to grow and mature and like actually create these stable roots to this reality. Now, if you grew up in a similar way that I grew up, where you had instability and insecurity, I remember, no one really ever believed in me, right? I always felt like uh, grossly neglected. I felt unloved. I felt like a burden. I can remember growing up and knowing that teachers felt bad for me. Like school was kind of, school is such a big part of our lives, right? And school was one of those things where I can remember teachers feeling bad for me. I can remember kids always kind of like, singling me out, right? I was different. I had a hard time making friends, and I feel like most of us that have had kind of that lack of instability, that lack of security, that lack of really truly growing roots, we had a hard time connecting to others because it was almost like we were um, emotionally stunted because we were neglected, because our energy systems really never got created properly, right? And now, and I'm sharing this because now I personally, and I hope maybe even in sharing this, it will kind of maybe even shine some light on where you're at in your life as well. Because personally now I do see that that was all part of my plan. My personal life plan, I should say, like my personal life plan for my own soul's growth, because I was never really able to connect with those around me when I was young. We moved a lot too. So, I was never really in any place for too long. I was, constantly bounced from, school to school. So I never really got to know children. I never really got to make connections with kids my age. I never really even had like anybody really looking out for me as far as teachers even went, because there was years, I know in elementary school, I think I probably went to 4 or 5 different elementary schools in 1 year. So I never really had like a strong connection to anybody, but I did learn how to observe. I learned how to read energies and feel energy patterns. And also, when I would perceive an energy pattern, I would understand how that would play out. So as I seen people play out something, I could relate it back to, oh, that's the energy pattern of that. I met so many people living really in the depths of emotional pain and abuse. You guys, I grew up in downtown Flint. Okay. I literally grew up in the heart of Flint. I've lived at the YMCA. Literally, I've lived at the YMCA at the homeless shelter. I have understood deeply how different energy patterns are signals for bigger problems. One of the times in my life that, now I say I went to lots of different schools, but we did move around kind of a lot of in the same areas. And I went to lots of the different Flint school systems. Now, back in the day when I was young, Flint had there's a lot of different Flint school systems. So I went to a lot of the different Flint school systems. But I'm not saying that like just because I went to Flint schools means that I understand trauma in any way, shape, or form. But I will tell you that I grew up in some areas where, and this is going to be a traumatic event I'm going to share with you for a moment. But at one point, I want to say I was 12. Oh, I couldn't have been that old. I had to have been younger than that. And my next door neighbor in the house that we were living in, I had to have been maybe 9. Actually, he was maybe 4 years older than me. He couldn't have been more than 13 years old. He actually, I don't even think I'm going to share actually what exactly happened. We'll just say he got into a gang fight, and he ended up killing somebody. And this was my friend at the time. And I remember like even the instances around like the family and like the dynamics and like the energies of all of the things that were created. And I remember as a child almost like dissecting these energy patterns and absorbing them in a way where I feel like other people around me didn't do that, right? Like it was almost like it translated to me almost like understanding trauma energies and their patterns in a way that I could see the big picture of what energies were tangled that created that action to play out, if that makes any sense. I feel like as I was looking at really talking about this today, I feel like there's a lot of you who are coming forward. I feel like we're uniting right now, and we're understanding that each one of us understands trauma in a different way and how to untangle trauma and how to be present in a way that allows these trauma energies to be untangled just by being present with them. So as I was starting to really dive into these chakra energies, these sacral chakra energies, I was looking at these patterns, just like I was talking about, these kind of these like self-worth issues, these like addiction to pain, pleasure, connection. And I was really leaning into how this has created my uniqueness. And how also the addiction to pain has also contributed to me upholding energies that are stopping me from being who I know I am. Because for some reason, I keep aligning with these lower level energies. Everywhere you're doing that, everywhere you're choosing that, everywhere you're tangling that, everywhere, that's your reality as well. Everything, all of that is. And all of that, 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 all of that. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of your universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. It's time to stop settling for the this will do. It's time to stop having that occasional huge fail so you can make yourself wrong. Healing is hard, you guys. I get it. But right now, we're going through the mother of all awakenings. The mother of all awakenings. We are transforming to the core. There are energies inside of you that are so ready to be released. Your creativity is ready to be unleashed right now. So that creativity energy is right within that sacral chakra. This is week number 2 in the chakra course. I personally feel like when I deep dove into the sacral chakra, I awakened these energies for myself. You know, I've been doing chakra work for, gosh, I don't even know, decades. And I actually used to teach a chakra course at my healing center. I used to call it Chakra 101. But I tell you what, the energies that are available to us now as we've been transcending and as we've been going up the energy paradigms here, and as these new energies have become available, we are just going deeper and deeper and deeper into the storage systems of what is available for us to unlock, release, and move on. So this week is the sacral chakra. Again, this is week number 2 in the chakra course. Also included, so the chakra course not only goes over each chakra, it's a 7-week course. Each week you get a new chakra unlocked. So the root chakra was week number 1. Week number 2 is the sacral chakra, but also when the chakra gets unlocked, you also get a chakra clearing library. And the clearing library has clearing calls for each chakra. So in the chakra, the sacral chakra area, I have actually 3 clearing calls. There's one that's called the permission to create your life. And then that clearing call truly just really looking at, is it a time that you allowed yourself permission to really dive into that creation of your life? The sacral chakra, creativity and desires go hand in hand. And if you don't have what it is that you desire for your life yet, maybe you just haven't really truly given yourself permission to do that. So in that clearing call, I talk about all about permission to create your life. And there's another clearing call. It's called the Wrongness of Sexuality. And in this audio, truly giving ourselves some time and some space to explore our desires and unlock those generative energies of sexuality and creativity, and truly allowing ourselves to give birth to new creations. Just think about that for a moment. If you've made sexuality, if you've made your sexuality wrong in any way, shape, or form, your sexuality, those sexuality energies, the sexual energies inside your body go hand in hand with creativity. So once you make sexuality or sex, the act of any of that wrong, you're limiting your creativity and your creative powers. And then the last sacral chakra clearing call is releasing emotional distractors. And in this call, we just talk about the emotional connections to what things mean about us. That gives us a new choice or a possibility. You know, the emotional distractor paradigms is really truly a kind of a huge paradigm. But in that call in particular, we're looking at allowance and space to really allow ourselves to change those emotional distractors, allowing ourselves to acknowledge and really truly allow us to untangle, to give us more space and possibility. So all of these are found within the chakral, or I'm sorry, the sacral chakra. It's a tongue twister here. The sacral chakra course. So if you actually go, I'll have my husband here put, when he does my little upload of my show today, put the link for the free course. So there's a free chakra course, which comes with a PDF and a free frequency chakra meditation that's made by my husband. And then in the chakra course itself, there is a deep dive into each chakra. So each chakra, you get that first kind of the main clearing call. We go over more information. I do a main clearing, like really truly like a deep dive. I use the Healy frequencies. We do a deep dive into each chakra. Then you get the chakra clearing calls. Plus, you also get a frequency meditation that my husband scripted, created, and made, which are phenomenal as well. So there's a lot of the chakra course is really packed full of information. So again, this is all about the sacral chakra and really truly that passion and pain. So if you're finding yourself also in that place where you're addicted to making yourself feel bad, might be time to dive into the chakra course and release yourself for good. Thank you so much for listening to me today, and I look forward to connecting to you in the future. Don't forget, you can also connect to me online, The Conscious Empath. I have the Facebook group and also the page and my website. You can find the links to those things on my website as well, Jamie, Jamie Bates, Bates.com. Thank you so much for listening to me today, and I look forward to connecting to you in the future. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You have been listening to Expand Your Reality with your host, Jamie Bates. Thank you for listening.